Okay, so today we're going to be talking about exponents and prime factorization. Now the key to prime factorization, if you were to watch the video as we were instructed to before, the first three prime numbers are 2, 3, and 5. Now 2, 3, and 5 are going to be our key prime numbers, but there are others that follow, such as 7 or 9. Now, a prime number is a number that can only be divided by 1 and itself. So, in order to find the prime factorization equation that we need, we would need to use a factor tree. Now, for our factor tree, you start with any composite number you would like at the top. But we're going to start with something easy, and we're going to start with 8. So for 8, we're going to have our 2 lines, and there's 2 ways we could do this. So we're going to try both ways and see which way is more efficient to use. So the first way we could do 1 times 8 equals 8. Okay, then we could do 4 times 2 equals 8. Now 2 is one of our prime numbers on the side. So we're going to circle the prime and continue down with the 4. So 4 could be 2 times 2. Again, prime. Now that we have all prime at the end of our stems, our factor tree is done, which would make this equation be 8 equals 2 times 2 times 2, which also could be 2 to the third, because 2 would represent our base number, the one that is being repeated, and 3 is the number of times it has been repeated. So I'm going to put a note off to the side over here, base to number. Now, I know that looks a little confusing, but it's important to know base is the number being repeated, and the number sign is the number of times. Okay, now let's try the other way. So instead of starting with 1 times 8, let's just go ahead and start with our 2 times 4. Circle our prime, continue down, 2, 2, prime, prime. And again, we get 8 equals 2 times 2 times 2, or 2 to the third power, or 2 cubed. Now, what do we see in the difference between the first way and the second way? Well, the first way has an extra step added by us using 1 and 8. Because by using 1 and 8, it's as if we were to start with 8 as we were before. So in my opinion, to have a more efficient way, I would say avoid using any number with 1 in itself, because that is just making yourself do an extra step. So let's go ahead and cross this process out and know we're going to use this way and avoid using the number 1. Okay, so let's practice a little bit, and I'll put our notes on the next page. So we'll put our prime numbers again. And our reminder of base to number. Okay, so let's start with something a little different. Okay, how about 24? Okay, 24. Now this has many ways. We're going to work through one together, and you may get something different, but as long as your equation at the end is the same, it is okay. So I'm going to start with 4 and 6. Now, neither one of those are prime for my prime numbers, so I'm going to continue with 2 times 2. Then my 6, I'm going to do 2 times 3. So I'm done. So I'm going to put 24 equals 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Okay, now we look here. What number is being repeated multiple times? 2. So my base, and then how many times? 1, 2, 3 times. So 2 to the power of 3 times, can't forget our 3, 3. Okay, now, again, there's multiple ways this could have been done, but as long as your answer at the end has 2 cubed times 3, then you got the correct answer. Okay, now let's try something bigger. How about 100? Okay, 100 is, that's many, many ways. I'm going to start with 50 and 2, because I know 2's prime, so I can go ahead and cancel that side. Okay, so from 50, I'm going to go again with a prime. 25 and 2. From 25, I'm going to say 5 and 5, which are both prime. So 100 equals 5 times 5 times 2 times 2. Now in this one, we have 2 numbers that are being repeated. So let's start with the first one. Our base number is 5. And it has how many? 2 times another base. And how many times? 2. So 100 would equal 5 squared times 2 squared. And if you put that into your calculator, you should end up getting 100 back. And this would be your prime factorization equation. Now I'm going to give you a few minutes to try these on your own. So I want you to do the numbers 96 and 120. Now I'm going to do our solutions in pink. That way we know that we have got the right answers and we can tell the difference. So let's start with 96. So for 96, I'm going to start with 32 and 3. Circling my prime. Then we have 16 and 2. And then I'm going to choose to do 4 and 4, which would carry down to 2, 2, 2, 2. So therefore 96 would equal 3 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which would be 3 times 2 to the 5th. Okay, now for 120. Now for 120, there's many, many ways you could do this, but I'm going to just take the biggest numbers I know and do 12 and 10. Now I'm going to start with my 10s and do 5 and 2, which are both prime. And then from 12, I'm going to do 6 and 2, and then 3 and 2. So 120 equals 5 times 3 times 2 times 2 times 2, which would equal 5 times 3 times 2 to the 3rd. Now I hope that this lesson has helped you learn more about your prime numbers and prime factorization, and maybe you'll have a better way to find the equation to a composite number. Thank you for watching.